Hey up, so we're back working on the Insignia. Today's task is to fit a new radiator mount. The car had a front end bump before I bought it, and ever since the radiator on one side is hanging down, it's actually rubbing on the intercooler piping, the water hose, and it is actually going to eventually rub through the intercooler, the end tank on the intercooler. So it's been neglected, so the plan for today is to pull the bumper off, have a look inside, fit this new bracket, put that back together. Gonna do time-lapse video with some shit music put over it. So I'm just gonna try and figure out how to get this bumper off. I've had a quick Google, a load of bolts across the top, bolts underneath, bolts in the wheel arches, some brackets underneath. So we'll crack on and see how far we get.
Shut up and sit down.
Right, so there is, underneath there is two Torx bolts, one either side. Forgotten a bolt. There we go, so on the right hand side of the car, or passenger side, there was one 8mm screw bolt. I always get screws and bolts mixed up. There's nothing on the other side, which is strange, so it's just one of those. And now there is a shitload of wires, fog lights, parking sensors. So I'm going to just disconnect those wires. There we go, so that's the front bumper off. So just to summarise, you've got your 3 screws on either side. Careful, they will be seized if you've got an old car, this one. You've got your fog lights, it was easy to take the bulbs out. And then there was oh, where's it gone? There was a plug there, a connector there, I don't know what that is, temperature sensor maybe, not sure. And then there was a plug there, which I think is parking sensors. And then the other fog light over there. 4 plastic clips. 3 bolts over there I've already mentioned. These are where the bolts were. In actual fact, it looks like I could have left the bolts in and it would have slid out. Screws at the top. So that's where the bolt goes, in there, captive nut, fog light. So my problem, if you look down here, my problem is, get the light to stay still. Oh, we are blinding it, sorry. My problem is that. So that's snapped, and this, the whole intercooler radiator has actually been rubbing on there. So I'm gonna just have a good look around, see what I can, see if I find any damage, and then I need to figure out how I'm gonna refit this, and potentially the bolt, the threaded holes in the cross member, they might be damaged. Hopefully not. So yeah, back in a minute. So finally got these screws out. That's all what's left of the aluminium. The screws are pretty well seized in there. So I'm going to clean them up, cover in some copper grease and chuck them back in. Got the rubber boot, push that back into there, bolt it back in there, just some 30mm screws. So let's put it back together, and then the last job is to adjust my headlights. They're pointing at the ground, so I need to put them up a little bit. So let's crack on with that. All done. New bracket is on, and you can see it's like an inch higher than it was. Luckily it's not gone through the plastic, so it's all okay. And now the radiator's not going anywhere, so I'm glad I've put the effort in to change that bracket. The air conditioning on this car doesn't work. It has a very slow leak, so I got it recharged and it lasted about 4 weeks, and then air conditioning knocked off, so I believe it's just got a slow leak. Looking at the state of the condenser, I might price up a new one. If it's sort of less than 50 quid, I might put a new condenser on it and see if that fixes the slow leak. Yeah, right. Just going to adjust these headlights. So I've quick Google. One of these plastic screws adjusts the height of the light beam. So I'm going to put the bumper back on, turn the lights on, turn the garage lights off, and then just mark on the tools where the light is, and then adjust it up and down. Because when you're driving, the lights just point at the ground and you can't see a thing. So you've got to have your fog lights on or your high beams on whenever you can. It's crap. Anyway, right, let's get this bumper back on in record time. Right, so it turns out that top screw there, the one down there, this top one adjusts height of your low beam. So I've just tweaked it a little bit, and I'll take it for a drive and just make sure it's not too high. But all done, so thanks for watching, and till next time.